Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Almost ready. Let me roll back to...
So, Dr. Scott, you've got a question from the waiting room, I understand.
Yes, this is from Taylor Adventures. And the question is what our thoughts are about this year's flu vaccines. Are we going to get them, and how effective are they?
Same as they are every year.
Yeah.
Get your fucking flu shot.
Yeah.
Even the year when it was only 6% effective because they had missed the prevailing mutant, I got influenza that year, had a fever of 105, took Relenza, which is the inhaled version of Tamiflu, and just sailed right through it. Watched 4 seasons of Arrow on the CW during the day.
Drove his wife crazy.
Well, Tacey was at work, and it was easy.
Yeah.
You know, COVID kicked my ass way worse, and I was only sick for 1 day with it.
Yeah. So what? You've had your flu shots already?
Well, okay. So I am in the Pfizer trial again.
Okay.
With the Pfizer trials, I got the influenza mRNA vaccine.
Gotcha.
And so we'll just, by God, see.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I have had my flu shot.
Tacey's had hers.
Sore afterwards? Sick afterwards?
I didn't
really?
have anything.
No, I didn't notice anything.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get mine tomorrow.
And I got my bivalent, or as Jimmy Dore calls it, is my bivalent.
Ambivalent.
You're
ambivalent.
Yeah,
shot.
I know. Jimmy, he's hilarious. One of the smartest people on the internet, but he has trouble pronouncing things. And anybody who knows Kurt Metzger, will you tweet at him and say that they need to get, and just tell them they need to get me on that show? I want to get on there. I got a couple of things to say to him. So every year they have to estimate, based on what's going on in the southern hemisphere, what antigens to put in the flu vaccine. So the 2021-2022 flu season was way less severe than typical years, and but there were 2 peaks of flu activity, one in December and then another one in April, and I remember that. And they were thinking it was just had to do with relaxing of social distancing, and then in January and March, people were social distancing because of Omicron variant, and then they relaxed and it came back. But flu transmission rates in other countries are lower than usual so far this year. Flu transmission in the southern hemisphere countries like Australia can help predict what ours should be, and they've been having a milder flu season than usual, so hopefully that will be the case for us.
I read Australia was awful this year. I'll have to read. Which year are you reading?
This is 2022-23.
I'll have to read. I read it was
So the
awful.
flu vaccine doesn't protect against all strains of the flu. It's still recommended for everyone over the age of 6 months. It's typically about 40 to 60% effective. But the thing is, even if you got to define effective from getting it or effective from getting sicker and shit from it. And even when it was 6% effective from preventing you from getting it, it kept me out of the hospital and most of the people that had the vaccine.
It seems to be bad here.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad it is. I mean, people are getting it, but we're not seeing it in the hospital. You know, again, you got to define what bad means. Are you talking about cases, or are you talking about hospitalizations and deaths? You know,
I'm just talking about people getting it.
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, more people are going to get it because we really put a dent in influenza due to social distancing. Matter of fact, we killed one of the strains of influenza that used to circulate all the time. It hasn't been seen in 2 years now. So we will see how things go. If you are over 65, the high-dose quadrivalent flu zone, a.k.a. the high-dose flu shot, probably gives you better protection. And people who are over 65 are usually more vulnerable to influenza, but not always. When swine flu came around, those of us that were around for the swine flu epidemic in 1972, I think, had already had it. And so the old fuckers were just walking around, oh, you whippersnappers and your flu. And everybody else was getting the flu, but we weren't.
Bunch of softies.
I know. And the flu mist is a live attenuated influenza for people ages 2 and between 2 and 49. And it has weakened versions of the flu virus and is supposed to give you better protection. But the last couple of years, it hasn't been available because it just wasn't targeted properly. I believe it is back this year. The dirty little secret about that is if your kids get the flu mist, which Liam and Beck could get that instead of the shot if they wanted to taste, they will pass it to everybody in the house. Mm-hmm. It's communicable. Mm-hmm. And so everybody, ooh, you should only give it to people between 2 and 49, but the 60, 70-year-old in the family is going to get it anyway. Mm-hmm. So, it's a little bit of what you call a medical legal trick there, Dr. Scott.
I hear you, baby.
But no matter what, I just really, the benefits to the flu shot outweigh the risk. And, our buddy Richard David Smith, who is the founder with his wife Shatai of Hyperphysics. Check them out, HYPERFIZZICS, which is billed or sold as an energy drink for nerds. He was like one of those, I ain't getting my flu shot, and he ended up on the ventilator, almost left us. So now he is quite the proponent of the influenza vaccine. And I can't agree with him more. I'm just glad he did okay.
Yes, you, Jeff.
He's a nice guy. He and his wife both came to the studio. They're quite
Did
quite
she make
delightful.
us like chocolate chip cookies or something?
No, that was Stacy's wife, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, Richard's wife, they had the 2 kids that were here, and then they gave us a couple of cases of sugar-free Hyperphysics, which I quite enjoyed. It's my favorite energy drink. I just can't find it around here. All right. Anything else?